So now when we have the recording going, I want to bid all of you welcome to this uh, half-monthly organizational meeting of the Third World March English-speaking group, and to put all in the picture of what those what those meetings are supposed to handle and cover. I will read some notes regarding this. Uh, in this meeting, we keep on discussing and developing the multiple prospective activities for peace and nonviolence of the World March 3 projects, like peace marches, sport events, concerts, conferences on peace and nonviolence, human peace science, and more. We will discuss and share ideas of what materials we need to promote our World March 3 activities, t-shirts, banners, logos, flags, flyers, and other material to be visible with our message of peace and nonviolence wherever we are placed. We will also discuss how to promote the World March 3 ethical statement. That is a very interesting part of this World March 3. This we want to do in universities and colleges, and not least in the primary schools, and introduce a pledge for students at all levels, which means never to use the knowledge they acquire to harm other human beings. In the meeting, there will also be opportunity for the participants to share ideas and learn from each other about the developments of what has happened in the various African countries since our last organizational meeting 2 weeks ago, that is 8th of August. So when I have introduced it in, let's say, in a formal way, then I am very happy to really hand the word over to Antonio Cavallo, because he is in the beginning of the meetings. He is putting us into the context of the whole development of the World March 3 in the whole world, because the world march not only in Africa. So Antonio, maybe you can give us some depth on what this World March 3 is all about, and what has happened on worldwide scale. Please,
Well,
Antonio.
nothing much. I mean, thank you, Julius. But I don't know if I should talk long, or all the contrary, we have more time for yourselves to explain what is happening. I will tell you that at world level, the situation is more or less the same as in Africa. That means in every group, in every country, in every village, in wherever you are formulating plans, you are discussing with people close to you, exchanging about what is required, what Julius was explaining in the beginning of the meeting, and therefore what are activities that you feel are feasible to have the maximum impact over the people around you. When I say maximum impact, I am not talking of throwing things or something like that. No, I am saying that can attract the attention of everyone, if possible, on the main purposes of the World March. The World March tends to mobilize a large number of people, as the idea of a march explains. It's not just a physical march, because in some places there are people who walk, and in the old Gandhian style, he used to start to be followed by thousands of people, and cross India several times with the same message of peace and non-violence, and that they wanted the Brits out. They don't want it anymore to be part of the empire, who was extracting up to the last drop of energy and blood from the nation. And then, and like that, he put an end to colonialism in Africa, at least the military occupation and the administrative occupation. Of course, the reasons why colonialism was in the aspect and in the form it had at the time was the end of the war, the Second World War, where really the Nazis were destroyed by the Russians, and that's it. They were so exhausted, all the parties of the war in the end, that they couldn't continue fighting each other, and the Americans that were far away and they were not part of the big empires confronting each other in Europe in the First and Second World War, they came much lighter. They supply all the weapons. Of course, they charge for it, and they charge the normal market prices. For example, the UK ended up paying the debt to the Americans for the weapons provided during the war only in 2006. Have a picture of that. They were sending ships and they were sending weapons of all types and guns and everything, but sold. So it was a very good business for America, who had been in recession for several years, because they got their industries working and the Europeans had to pay. And the Europeans were paying with monies that they were extracting from Africa and Asia. And can you see how the injustices of the world operated here and there? But at least the old empires, the colonial empires, had to change shape. So the Americans started the colonization with the financial institutions that rob you, but in a way that you don't notice it. It's not that they keep you in a plantation or in a manufacturing industry and they take the result of all your work. Not so much like that. It's just that you have to trade in the way they tell you, that you have to allow them to come and exploit your natural resources, that they sell them and you have to produce them at cost practically. So the profit is with them, not with you, and they take everything away. So you examine 20 years of that sort of soft hand colonization, because it's purely financial, and you have nothing, and you are as poor as 20 years before. And in Latin America is the same thing, because there we were colonized by the Spaniards, that they created, of course, the same type of structures, and practically the whole population were enslaved and in a situation of misery. But later on, the Americans took over through the system of the dollar and the control of the financial institutions after the Second World War, and they control also America, Latin America, where I am coming from, Central America, Mexico. And again, they were having all the benefits, and the people there, the minimum. Now the world is changing again. You see, that seems that the big cycles of change in history take about 30 years, 40 years to manifest themselves. But now history is accelerating. Things are happening every time quicker, faster. Why? Because we are better connected, because it's development of technology. Technology belongs to all of humanity. If you go to one of these big manufacturing companies, for example, the iPhone producers, and you see how many plants do they have and where, they are mostly in China, mostly in third world countries, and the workers and even the engineers who develop all these systems are mainly from countries that are not American. They have a few that have created some things in the laboratories, in the small startup electronic companies in California, especially where they started. But the big producers of this wealth and this talent and this technology are the people, the average people, like yourselves and like me, and like all of us. But nobody gives us credit for that. On the contrary, we have to buy the phones at very expensive prices on the market. But still, that has made such a change that in minutes we can connect 4, 5, 6 countries, and then we can take decisions, we can chat like now, and we are thousands of miles away from each other. And still we can have a dialogue as if we were sitting in the same room. And so that is changing the participation of people, the expression of different views from the views of the established powers, and that is very favorable. And so some countries, powerful countries, very successful countries, are shaking up the last influences of the modern ways of colonialism, the imposition of the financial colonialism. And then you see the Chinese, that they are moving away from the US dollar and they are creating their own currencies. And the Russians are doing the same, and South Africa is doing the same, and Brazil is doing the same. So the largest countries in each one of the continents, they are shaking up all the dust and all these insects crawling on them and taking everything from around and liberating. And so a new world order is starting to emerge. And when a nation really starts to look in a different manner, not out of greed, not out of concentration of capital, not only of benefiting the privileged, the small minorities, the corporations that sell the products to the government, and the government sell them later on to other countries for the purpose of organizing wars. The wars for them is a very good business, for the British, for the Americans, for the Germans, for the Swedish, for all what they call the Wild West, that they are only 5% of the population of the world. The other 95%, we are colored. South, they call it the global South, the this, the that, the Asians. But anyway, we are the majority. We are creating the wealth in the world, and we are keeping also the consumption in the world. If you observe, not you, because there you have very good manufacturers in Africa, but here in the UK, I happened to do some errands this morning in one shopping center. I don't go all the time to shopping centers. And I went to see some clothes to a company called Marks and Spencers, where I do used to shop all the time for for socks, for shirts, for the things that you need for your work, etc. Everything came from Bangladesh because it's the biggest manufacturer of cotton clothing, especially, and they do it at very cheap prices. And so these big companies have all the factories in Bangladesh. They have to manufacture, and they come and sell here in the shop still at very high price. So it's still, you see the same mechanism repeating and repeating. But now the Asians are developing their own alternative manufacturings. For example, the cars, the electric cars made in China are the most efficient and the cheapest in the world. And the result is that everybody wants to buy an electric car from China. And they are furious because they are much more expensive than the American prototypes or the European prototypes, but almost twice more expensive in Europe or in the United States than in China. So they are trying to put huge taxes to Chinese. You want to sell one of your cars in euro? Ah, well, you have to pay a tax import of 40% of the price. And the Chinese are saying, no, I am not paying that. I'm going to other markets, and also putting very high taxes for the imports of their own products, because China has been the producer of very good technology at low prices. And so the whole system of trade and commercial relationships in the world are starting to rebalance based more in the power of people and the autonomy of the different countries. And then is this new way of looking that the majority of the countries want a multipolar world. Before it was bipolar, Russians, the communists, the baddies, and the goodies, that were the Europeans and the Americans and the Canadians, who really, they defended democracy and freedom. I don't know where is freedom and democracy that they defend, because I see exactly the opposite. And they are the ones that instigate the wars and the conflicts everywhere in the world. But now that business is running down for them. It's not working anymore. First of all, because they cannot defeat China and Russia and all the new alliances between countries, but also they want to be, decisions have to be taken by all as equal partners. As any nation, any human group, no matter if they have a huge population or a small population, they should be equal partners in international relations. And the interests of everyone have to be accommodated. And in that sense, again, politically speaking, and in terms of trade, the world is changing very, very quick. All that I am telling you is to understand the system where we are all inserted. that is the structural vision, because we have been taught that things are almost like the particularity that you are studying, like separate things, everything sort of separate. We like to study the process. That means we ask ourselves, where is this situation coming from? How it originated? How it had evolved up to the present situation? And how it may continue, in which direction? And in which way we can change direction for the betterment of humanity. And everything that we study, we the humanist, is paying attention to the structure, the origin, the present situation, and the tendencies to the future. Also, we recognize that everything is in movement, not only in this planet Earth, but in nature and in the universe. Everything is movement. And everything is energy, and energy is in transformation continuously. After these bodies, these biological bodies that we carry here and there, that they are the seat of our spirit, spiritual part of our inner self. When they become obsolete, you have been using them, you have been doing lots of things with your body. At one time, they complete the natural cycle. The energy starts to become inefficient in its operation. Finally, it dies. When it dies, all the components of the body starts to uh, dissolve and transform in other forms of energy. They are liquids that finally evaporate, and they are gases that they are eliminated and absorbed by the atmosphere, and so on. The energy continues its transformation. Our spiritual part, that is an energy of more subtle quality, our souls, if you want, our spirit, if we have worked properly to gain internal unity, to overcome contradiction, to become, to make it together, with ourselves and itself, it will continue evolving to higher levels of whatever, of existence. The energy continue transforming and continue evolving. And the more material part, the more external part will continue the transformation in its own plane. Will be good fuel for plants, for animals, for many other things. Everything is in movement. We are not taught this type of things ever. But science knows that things are like that. The physics, the modern physics, especially the quantum physics, that are studying the inner behavior of the matter, they have been able to split the atom that happened from the beginning of the previous century and to liberate the energy that exists in the atom. And like that, in 1945, they managed, because of the physics, the people studying physics at the time, they have seen the formula to do that. And they created the first atomic weapons that could produce an energy unbelievable, unimaginable, and without precedent. And like that, they used these bombs that celebrated the anniversary of those explosions in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that in a flash, in a matter of seconds, they killed 250,000 people in these two cities. Most civilians, they were not military targets, but they wanted to test this new weapon to see what it did to people. And a few days later, they came the experts to measure the size of the wounds, what happens to the skin, the people who have simply evaporated because they were more close to the center of it, the people who were more in the periphery, what happens to those bodies, and the ones who contracted diseases and cancers and burns and all types of things. And they made statistics about everything. And they went back to the States. Do you think that they put them in special hospitals to look after them? Forget it. The war had just finished. They were the enemies of the United States and they had to fend by themselves. That shows the cruelty of that mentality and the way in which they really think when it comes to the crunch. And that gave them the hegemony, the superiority in terms of armaments. By the same time, the Russians that have been hands-on fighting with Hitler, they are also managed to develop in a matter of 3 or 4 years after the Americans their own atomic weapons. And since then, the two most military powerful countries, Russia and the United States, became enemies. And the Cold War started. And they had their own allies and their own enemies. And the world went like that with two poles running for another since the 1945 to the perestroika, the times where the Russians resolved to dissolve the Communist Party and change another model and open up to the West. And then, of course, the Western powers say, you have lost the war, now we are the big shots. But now 20 years have elapsed since then, and other countries are coming up, and they are competing financially, they are competing in technology, they are competing in autonomy and this and that. And a new world has emerged, a world that doesn't want war, but through the talent of their own populations and their own people, having more fair societies and better organized, they have they have flourished, and they are rich, and they are producing their own resources without any support or help from the Western countries. So the balance of power is changing. And that is the situation that the overall we are suffering today everywhere. Countries are trying to adjust. They are moving from spheres of influence of the traditional powers into new powers, the BRICS and these countries that want a multipolar world. The market, the commerce is being distributed, and we have great possibilities to shape up a new type of world thanks to the technology that is growing at exponential speed. So the change in 2 or 3 or 5 years is enormous. It's the equivalent what before happened in 20 years, now is happening in only 5 years and accelerating even more. So in the beginning, I asked Ragnar, do you see lots of changes? And he said, yeah, he saw lots of changes. He saw lots of changes because there are lots of new buildings. That is what the rich people that are profiting with the present atmosphere of business and this new interconnected world. Of course, they construct because property is a good business, etc., etc. But so it's not that there is a better standard of living for the people inhabited in Kusumu. No, they are as poor as they are before, but the buildings are there. But who can afford a building? Somebody coming from somewhere else with lots of money and dollars and something like that. So again, the distribution of the profits of the resources is uneven and fair. And new governments will develop with a different mentality, where the people will be more important and the people will express themselves clearly because they have information, because they have education, because they have access to technology, because they have the talent to create their own enterprises, etc., etc. So at one point they will not swell, they will not be swelling or um, believing the type of things that they are being nurtured by the establishment and by the big media and by all these forms of information. The monopoly of information, of course, for the system to preserve the status quo is very important. And 50 or 60% are lies. So people will start to get real information. Everything is changing. I want to, through this long explanation of the geopolitical structural environment, is for us to understand that we depend on the environment of that sort of world that is constructed around us, but we can also influence that world. We can have a greater impact every time. And the march for peace and nonviolence and the ethical statements that we are promoting and the forums to enhance what are the greatest problems that we are suffering in this historical time and what are the solutions that the people at the grassroots can visualize in order to improve the status quo. All these type of things that we are emphasizing to develop is contributing to that new world that is already emerging and starting to grow. And we have to develop a new way of thinking, a new way of dealing with ourselves, because if there is violence, it's because of the bad habits of education, the bad habits of behavior, and because we have not been able to appreciate the presence and the contribution of other human beings around us. We live in a culture of competition, of the winner wins all, of a predominance of a small minority that takes the majority of the resources and deprives the majority. We need solidarity, we need compassion, we need care for each other, because tomorrow you are in a situation of power, I mean today, and tomorrow you have nothing for some reason or another, you got ill, and you depend on other human beings that have to look after you. And we know that because we come from ancient cultures where the practice many, many years ago, before the imposition of this new world that has lots of technology and lots of capable things and interesting things, but has lost the human quality of the social relationship that is the fundamental asset in the development and progress of everyone. And those are the things that we are pushing. And that is the moment and the period in history in which we are. So don't feel depressed about the negative news that you will read here and there. And because the future ought to be better, because the system that they have created is collapsing because of its own inefficiency and the own imbalances that they have built into it, and because people in general are stopping to believe in that system. Whatever the efforts that they make to convince us that is wonderful, that that is freedom, that is prosperity, that they are the kings of the world, is exactly the opposite. The kings of the world are the human beings, you and us and all of us. No other way to understand it. And so we have to study a lot to get the pictures clear and to be able to sift through the confusion and through all the rubbish news and the misinformation and build up the things that are really good and that have future and the possibility of prosperity for many, for all. So in that sense, is that we are implementing this world march because we have to eradicate violence in society and in ourselves. And when we understand the relationship between social violence and individual violence, we should understand as well that they are both interlinked, that there is social violence because there is violence in the individual, because we are frustrated, because we are angry, because of all the things that have happened to us, because we don't see how to modify that situation. We don't understand the mechanisms, how that violence have developed in ourselves and how to catch it and eliminate it. It's like trying to lift yourself from the hair. Well, I cannot because you see that I don't have any. But anyway, it's even if you had lots of hair and you try to do that, you stand there and you pull them up, you are not going to lift yourself from your hand. It's impossible. Well, the same thing in this case. If we do not eliminate violence, if we don't study violence and we don't tackle it in the proper manner, it will remain within ourselves and will continue affecting our society and will get stuck in more or less the same situation. So it has lots of meaning what we are doing, what you are doing, and what we are building together, and we'll do more and more and more things to pursuing the objective of peace and well-being for all. We have to start somewhere, and it's here. Mm.
Thank you very much, Antonio. This was actually a very powerful insight and comprehensive of why we are here and why we are organizing
The world march
this
in
march,
that
yes,
context. Yes,
and how all of us,
yes,
each of us as human beings, as
we are
individuals,
part of it.
we are the ones that will have the possibility to unite,
Yeah.
to have some important effect of the situation. Well, thank you.
And it's very interesting because we spoke a bit about the structures, with the structure in which we are immersed. Your family is a structure, you as an individual are a structure. That means there are lots of factors moving and having an influence and operating, but also everything is in movement and there are cycles. So we have to understand the law of cycles, and there is a law that we call of overcoming the old by the new. And you see the movement of generations. Every generation that is born, our children, and then the children of our children, they come with new impetus, with a new type of experience, because the world that they are learning and observing is different. And those who are in education, they have a very important function to play, because these children will understand the world that they have inherited from us in a different manner, with different eyes. And if is correct, the values that they have and the understanding that they have, they will help to produce huge changes towards a better world. And also, yes, I will not complicate it more, but there are lots of interesting things that we have to study and learn together that will help our well-being and adaptation in day-to-day life.
Thank you very much, Antonio. It's a very great input.
If you keep thanking me, I will keep talking. So
Yeah. No, it is necessary to have those,
yeah.
the whole picture and where within what environment we are really working.
Mm.
Uh, so thank you again. But
Pleasure.
I am kind of have tended to put the word to Ragnar, our the guest in Kenya, that because you have such great programs. So if you can shortly tell us about your visit to Kenya and how it can help in our how it can be used to give power to all those who are working here for the world mass. Ragnar, would you want to tell us what you think of your trip and how you see it?
Yeah, it have just started. Actually, we are almost to the destination here. I have to cut them, but yeah, we are here in Kenya, and we are trying to reconnect with everyone who have been active with us through the years, and also we want to come and visit and meet all of you guys who have been new on board on this meeting that Julius have mostly be having internal work and all the activity. Okay, this is a great opportunity to reconnect because like Anthony was saying, now we can, wherever we are, we can have meetings and work together like we are in one room. But okay, we are going here to Nakuru and we will then try to pass Eldoret tomorrow, then go to Kisumu, where we will have 2 days with Obala, and their captain will come and they will introduce the project they're doing, Run for Gender-Based Violence, and which is a lot of here. Then we will maybe go to Uganda and then back to Nairobi 31st, and then we will go to Mombasa and around there. But what we are trying to do is to, show people that each and everyone can do so much. Every person can do so many things. And we did print, but it is, and we will now have the third world match going on the internet. And that's why it's very important to take a lot of photos and do of all the activities and let it spread all over the world. And we made T-shirts here that it's important that we label this activity, and we are encouraging people just to do what they do normally for peace and non-violence, but label it with T-shirts and banners. And we have a kind of a criteria how we will distribute the T-shirts that we have printed. I want Ampel to tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you so much. As we go around doing all these activities geared towards peace and non-violence, it is important to bring other people on board. People will be seeing us and you and me drum beating about this in various places. And they ask like, what is this World March all about? How can I be part of it? And we say, fine, welcome. And we explain to you about this. And here is a t-shirt about that. And then you can give your contribution towards that, which can help also to print many other t-shirts for other people. So those who ask about what World Match is all about, then they also want to be part of what we are doing, then they get a t-shirt. And by so doing, they can chip in and get something small that can be collected and print more and more t-shirts to be able to have that sense of belonging in the group and doing something. Thank you so much. Maybe we can also have a discussion around that so that we can have everyone on board.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is a criteria we came up with, and also Opala is printing T-shirt, because if you just give it to someone that are not interested, then what? We have to see if someone really wants to have a T-shirt, and then he contributes something small, like we are also contributing, and that is the criteria we have. I want to introduce Angus, our member who has been with us for a long time. Maybe you want to introduce yourself and just tell a little bit what you are doing.
Yes, thank you very much. I want to thank Julius for this powerful presentation. Also, Antonio for the great presentation. I am Angus. I've been following, and I'm happy that we are now having a collective responsibility to deal with non-violence. And I'm happy that I'm in this caravan to also help the society reach its goal and objective. So I'm pleased. I'm also a community resource person in the non-violence work. Peace is very precious. So we need to deal with it. In Africa, violence is like the order of the day. So we need your energy, and we need your also advice and the presentations that can give us the energy also to carry forward. Thank you very much.
Actually, we are coming here to the place I used to live in Kenya. We will stop there in the hotel next to it. But everyone who want to come on board in Kenya here and want to meet us, please send me a message and tell me where you are, and I will contact you either on phone or find a way that we can meet. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
very much,
from this side.
Ragnar.
Thank you, Ragnar.
Yeah, now we have already, we can open the floor for inputs. So Amazon Theatrics, Edwin Koga has raised the hand. Please, Edwin, let us
Okay,
welcome.
Thank you very much, Ragnar and the team. Thank you very much, Abel. It's a long time. I don't know, we met like 5 years or 6 years ago. I cannot even recall. I don't know when it was, 2017 or 2018 or 2019. And the Ragnar has hinted out that the caravan will be coming to Kisumu, and Amazon Theatrics, we are also in Kisumu. If you'll be having time, you can let us know so that you can meet us. Our office is not too far from where the Obala's office is. So because we need also to have the space in the World March 3, because as we know, we do theater for social change. That's our strength. So we are inviting you. So Ragnar and the team, you can reach out. If you'll be in Kisumu, let us know as early as possible so that we can be prepared to receive you. Otherwise, thank you for the good work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. This was a very nice,
Very nice
input.
message.
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's exactly like this, you know, to find the ways of mixing and sharing spirits and having our heads clear on what we can do. And Ragnar has emphasized that because everyone has everyone has talents. Someone can sing, other can do theater, other are good at sports. But what we are good at, we can do. We can also contribute. So thank you really for your input. So now the floor is open. Please, if you want to speak, you can raise a hand. Anyone talking about what you are doing and how your contribution. Vincent, Asiam, please welcome.
Yes, hello everyone.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Vincent. Hi.
Yes. Welcome, Vincent.
Uh,
Please,
yes,
please go
I
on.
want to
Yes.
appreciate you so much for the wonderful job that you have done, and I'm so much apologetic for being absent for a quite a good month of not attending this kind of meeting. I'm so much apologetic. I think I had to let my colleague Mr. Bell know what was going on and the reason why I was not attending this meeting. He might have explained to some of you. So I do send my apology for that. I want to appreciate Mr. Antonio for the great representation that you have done, and Mr. Julius for organizing this kind of meeting, and also Mr. Regner for paying visit to us in East Africa. We do appreciate you for everything that you are doing. For me,
Hello, Julius, and the team.
Hi,
Welcome,
Anthony.
Anthony. Welcome, Opala. Yes.
so I want to just re-echo something on the program that we're having in front of us. That is African Humanists, of which right now we are focusing on having some activities that can gather people together and that can make people to know the reason why we need to have one another in our life.
For having given me the support. We want the kids to learn, and I also want to say thanks a lot Johnson and Ragnar also to learn and understand about ours with our local setup, so that whatever we share, we can all join hands and come up with a positive solution on some of these things as we focus on the third world match. I think I'm a very free person, and I would really wish to encourage everybody, even Koga, who is away, who is not a stone throw away, just to come and join us, because this is not mine. It is we are doing it for the sake of the community. So everybody who is there, we are going to welcome everybody. We want to share. We want to get notes that will help us improve and make our community better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony. Very nice. Yeah.
Hello, Julius. I beg to say something. Huh?
Yes, please. Edwin.
Yeah, you know, while we are in this platform, everyone has its own organization, mission, and vision that he or is trying to bring into the third world match. And so you've hinted out that Ragnar is coming to Kisumu and is ready to meet anybody who will request. So I will say that Obala, don't force us to come to your event. So let other people also reach out and let them also have their own story in relation to the third world match that will be happening. So don't cover us with your stories so that you want us to support your story, because at the end of the day, everyone is having his own vision, mission, and the mandate and what to contribute. So just like I have said, at Amazon Theatrics and Sample, we are free. And if Ragnar will be in Kisumu and will be free to visit us to also share what we do and what we plan, it's okay. Rather than being invited by another organization that is already also trying to contribute the same thing that you will contribute. That's why we are here as organizations, as an individuals, to make this thing more better, more concrete, than to jump on somebody's back. Because I know all of us knows why they are doing activities to address non-violence and peace. So somebody should not just force us to ride on his horse. Everybody has a horse to ride on. Whether your horse is fat, whether your horse is thin, whether your horse is black, yellow, but the direction is one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
A quick one. I
Thank you,
can see
Edwin.
everybody's hands is
Thank
up,
you.
and I'm going to intervene as a gender. Yeah, gender sometimes also matters. So as Ragnar is going to come to Kisumu, I think us as Kisumu members, we should sit down and see on how Ragnar is going to move to each organization. But for one, we have to ask Ragnar, how many hours do you have for us? If Ragnar has a whole day or 3 days or 2 days, then it can be divided like that. But if Ragnar has some hours, why can't we come together and have time where Ragnar can meet all of us? So Ragnar, you are here with us. You are in Kenya. Karibu nyumbani. Welcome to Kenya. Can you tell us that how long are you going to take in Kisumu so that we can know on how to slot these things rather than being like as if we are fighting? We are not here to fight. Our aim is to change the community. That is the motto
That's right.
which I think we all have here. So Ragnar, Dorothy here, can you tell us how long you are going to be here? Because we also need to take you and go and eat fish. So you have to include that one in your hours you are going to be here. Otherwise, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dorothy. And Ragnar will be sure to give us an answer. No, you want to express your views on this, Ragnar?
Yeah. I see a lot of people have raised their hands, so I would like to hear their opinion. But I can promise you, we will have the time that we need.
Perfect. I'll have to
that's
say
great.
bye for now. Sorry to interrupt, Ragnar, because I have another meeting. But it was wonderful to see, to hear, and many of you. And I wish you well in the rest of the meeting. And I will read the minutes to find out what is happening by each one. All the best. Cheers.
Okay.
Yes,
Bye,
Antonio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And a lot of peace, force, and joy to you.
This portion joy to you too.
Okay, take care.
So we are waiting for a hand to come up. Yes, Miniver, please. Welcome. Great to have our Zambian
Peace, force, and joy to you
champion
too.
with us here now. Miniver, please, you want to say something? You are muted. You want to, please, Miniver, you can talk.
Yeah. Although I didn't hear the starting of the meeting with the Antonio, but thank you very much for Antonio, you Julius, for the message, which was very interesting, and it is going to help us. I've heard also from a Kenyan colleague who he has explained very well on how we go around in communities, or maybe we do as we are here in Linda. We can go around within Linda, sensitizing to people what we are going to do or what we have started doing about making, bringing peace and non-violence to everyone, understanding. So this is a good idea, and for us, since we are still planning going to Stumbek, we are just waiting for our friends who are there to invite us to go there, because they are engaged with their works at the moment, but whenever they will be free, they are going to invite us to go to Stumbeko. That is the system which we are going to carry on, to go maybe village to village, maybe to farmhouse, so that we make those people know about the humanist movement. Since maybe for them it's the first time, they just heard a little from our colleague who is a farmer there. He lives here in Lusaka, and he just goes there some few days. So it's a good idea. Thank you very much. And also Max is here, maybe he can say something.
Yes, okay. Someone else is there, praise your side?
Yes, Julius.
Yes, is the Paul? Paul, you are...
This is Max.
Yeah, okay. Welcome. You wanted to say something?
No, I was saying I was here listening to what you are saying concerning the movement around the communities, as in going out to sensitize, of which is a very good idea. And I was even telling Mom in the afternoon to say, because tomorrow we'll be having a privilege to meet the minister and the DC in our community. I'll be having a meeting with them. So I was even suggesting to say, I wish we had even like flyers, like the way we used to have those the 10 varied principles. I really wanted like to carry some and also to go and give them, and so they know about what we are doing in the community.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very good. And I'm sure that will happen, that you will be visible with our icons and with the World March 3 banners and flags, you know.
Yes, yes.
So thank you very much, Zambia. It was great to hear you, and you are full of spirit.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Okay. Eugene, Kiteri, you had your hand up. You wanted to say something? Kiteri from Kakamega. You hear us? You are muted, Eugene. Kiteri. And now we have
Yes, hello
Milton.
Julius and the team.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So as for me,
please, welcome.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, thank you so much. So as for me, I'm in Kisi right now and we are organizing an activity, and I hope that Ragnar and the team will liaise with me so that we have a breakdown. I also see the itinerary and the roadmap so that we have some of the offices or official places that we have to, maybe we shall be given a time slice so that we prepare thoroughly on the official date and maybe the time, so that we keep on communicating with Ragnar and see that everything flows on well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiteri. And Vincent Acham has raised his hand. Please, you want to add something?
Sorry, mine is just an inquiry. This goes to Ragnar. I wanted to inquire whether he will also have time to come in Uganda, since right now he's in Kenya. That one I need to get more clarification from Abel, since they are together.
Thank you very much. And Ragnar, please.
Vincent, we really would like to come to Uganda, and we are seeing if it's possible. And I think I cannot promise you, but we are planning and we will do our best, and we will have some few days. Yeah, we will come to Uganda. You're doing good things, so we will just go there.
It is fine. I will be so much appreciative when you will have time to come to Uganda. As I planned with Mr. Abel, I'm going to start with the Gulu University, and I know right now the students are back for their studies, so we can maybe come and sit down and then we see what we can do.
Ragnar, you want to say more? You have your hand up. want to respond to
Sorry,
Vincent?
I was trying to mute myself. It was the wrong button.
Yeah, okay,
But yeah,
okay.
we
So,
will have a
okay.
meeting. Vincent, we will have a meeting with you one-on-one tomorrow or day after, and with Abel, and we plan and organize everything about Uganda.
It's okay. I'm going to appreciate that.
Okay. So, Edwin from Amazon, please, you want to add something?
Yeah. I just want to ask Abel and Ragnar to give us, just like Vincent and said, and Eugene, the itinerary of Ragnar's movements, so that we know that at what time when Ragnar will be in Kisumu, will be at Amazon Theatrics, and what time will he be at Obala's place, and maybe at Dorothy's place, so that we may prepare, as we need to prepare some theatrical performances on peace and non-violence that we can share, and we can tailor them, as just we had discussed earlier, that maybe during the march we could use the street theater, and maybe some kind of theater festivals, maybe in a culmination. So we need to discuss some things of that sort. So it's good if we get to know the day and the time, and the specific time that he will be in each and every place, so that we prepare. We have a short and productive sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. You want to give response, Ragnar, to this?
Yeah, I wish I could organize this, but Kenyan time and Kenyan things, it is really difficult to organize. But we will come to you, and we are organizing one day at a time. Today we are very late, and but when we are there, then we can sit down and organize.
Okay, Ragnar. So I think now we have come to the limit of the 1 hour. As we said in the invitation, we want to, if possible, to limit ourselves to 1 hour, because there are many of us. But this has been really a fruitful meeting. I'm very happy about the many different contributions that are here, and I'm sure that we will find the way in which to unite our efforts and come forward in a very strong march, as the Third World March, and I want to finish this meeting now by peace, force, and joy for all of you.
Peace, force, and joy to you.
Peace, force, and joy. Peace, force, and joy.
Yeah.
Peace, joy to you.
Yeah. So I will proceed to stop the recording, and now we're here, and we are here, and we are here.